Whew, okay. Lots of you have weighed in on this, and guess what? You guys have driven me back to the rule book, which is awesome. So we're going to look at that, and thank you so much for doing that, by the way. Really appreciate all the feedback. I love conversations like this. One quick note before we get into the rulebook, though. Some of you have mentioned that Wizards of the Coast designers have weighed in on this. Look, WotC designers can weigh in on rules as intended, and many DMs use that and rely on that to inform their rulings. Totally fine, totally great. Sometimes I do that as well. And by the way, I'm not telling you how you should rule at your table. We're literally just talking about what are the rules as they are written. I toss raw rules all the time when they don't make sense to me. So a couple things that have been brought up, two main contentions that I was able to kind of pull out of all the comments, which again, there are a lot of them, which is awesome. One, that reverting from Polymorph does not resurrect you or does not return you to life. Okay, so we definitely need to take a look at that then. And two, that hit points do not necessarily equate to life. Now, we know that you can die without being reduced to 0 hit points. There are effects in the game that do that, power word kill being one of them. But I think the question is, at that point, what do hit points represent? Because if you have hit points, are you dead or are you not? For example, those effects, do they kill you and thus remove all of your hit points or not? And there are mechanical explanations for all that. But let's look at just 2 points in the player's handbook and kind of see what they say here. Let's look at Polymorph. First of all, the language of Polymorph specifically says the creature returns to the number of hit points it had before it transformed. Okay, so when you die in Polymorph form, you return to the number of hit points you had before you transformed. Is this resurrection? I would say closer to revivify in an effect, given how fast it happens. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are alive if you can be dead and still have hit points. Okay, to be completely fair. So let's take a look at hit points. Whoa, open the book. Okay, let's take a look at hit points. Specifically, in the player's handbook, page 196, if you want to check this out for yourself. Hit points, and I quote, represent a combination of physical and mental durability, the will to live, and luck. So, according to the text, you are returned to your original level of physical and mental durability, the will to live, and luck. That sounds pretty much like being returned to life to me. So rules as written, actually written, it doesn't work. That said, at your table, you run it however you want. And by the way, there are plenty of tables that would say, yeah, that's not really how we view hit points, which is totally fair. If you view hit points differently, run it back through that filter. You want to be as consistent as possible in your rulings and in the understanding at the table. And so if you view hit points differently, well, that's going to change everything. Guys, thank you so much for all of the input and all of the feedback. I know this can get contentious, but this is awesome. And for us to actually be looking at this and gaining a better understanding of how this all works so that we can run it at our table the way we see fit and actually explain why and be consistent in our rulings, it's awesome and fantastic, and I absolutely love it. Thanks again so much. Again, looks like rules as written, it doesn't work. Some of the WotC designers apparently meant for it to, but, you know, maybe they should have written it that way. Hey, stuff happens, and at the end of the day, it's each table belongs to a DM that is going to make those decisions for their table for the best enjoyment of their players. Best of luck to you.